Please be seated. God saw you getting tired, and a cure was not to be. So he put his arms around you and whispered, "Come with me." With tearful eyes we watched you and saw you fade away. Although we loved you dearly, we could not make you stay. A golden heart stopped beating, hard-working hands at rest. God broke our hearts to prove to us he only takes the best. Family and friends, my name is Paige Gill-Harvey, and I warmly welcome you to the Geraldton Crematorium as we pay our final respects to Wilhelmus, Johannes, Lambertus van Lierop, or known to you all as Bill. I would also like to acknowledge those family and friends who are unable to be here today but are joining us via Livestream. You gather today to comfort and support Elsie and family while taking the opportunity to remember and reflect on Bill's life. Although Bill may no longer be here with us, his body and his memory will live on forever in our hearts. We remember Bill as a kind, loving and caring man who always had a huge smile on his face. Bill was a hard worker and was always willing to help anyone and everyone, even through his own struggles with his sickness. Bill was determined and he fought bravely against cancer until the very end, never losing his spirit or his sense of humour. Today we celebrate his life and all that he accomplished during his time with us, and we pay tribute to the man that Bill was, not just in the beginning and not only in his final years. Sharing memories is a powerful way to honour and keep the memory of a loved one alive. As we hear the following tributes written by Bill's closest family and friends, you may be reminded of your time with Bill and his impact on your life. I will now share on behalf of Bill's sisters, Caroline and Marion. The Van Lierop family commenced their journey from Holland to start a new life together in Australia on the ship Oronsay in 1969. Bill had his 13th birthday on the ship and shared fond memories of the trip over the years. We went to many places on the way, including Africa. I think both Bill and John were quite taken back with the culture's dress sense. Originally bound for Sydney, the tight-knit Dutch community convinced our mum and dad to opt for Perth rather than Sydney. We were all glad they made the choice of Perth. We had one family in Perth, which was Dad's uncle and auntie, who we lived with for a short time when we first arrived, and also our cousins Fruity, Tinny and Andre. Bill used to get us all ready for the walk to school, and he always watched out for us and made sure we were all okay. Our first Christmas at the unit was one we will always remember. Bill came home with 3 dolls' houses that he had made himself in woodwork class. He was really thoughtful and he knew we would love them, which we did. We treasured them just as much as Bill loved making them for us. He was always happy and confident in himself and was a good role model for us. We then moved into our first home Mum and Dad bought in Parkin Street, Rockingham, and things were going well. Bill used to take us all to Point Perrin when Mum and Dad were working during the school holidays, as it was one of our favourite places to go. We all used to go and spend the day there. We would whinge on the walk about being thirsty, and Bill would tell us to put a stone in our mouths and just suck on that. Surprisingly, that worked, but I reckon it was secretly a way to get us all to shut up. Mum and Dad used to go to the Dutch Card Club once a week and left Bill in charge, and boy, did that go to his head. One night, John decided he would make some hot chips. Unfortunately, the pot he used had a pinhole leak on the bottom, and soon the stove caught fire. We ran over to the neighbours, screaming hysterically, asking for help. He came over to help put it out and stayed to let Mum and Dad know what had happened, which Bill was thankful for. This was one event that he did not want to explain. When Bill turned 17, he enrolled in the army and left for 3 years. We missed him terribly until he came back. I remember him putting my arm behind my back and forcing me down towards the ground, going, "Kiss my feet," which of course I would not do, but screamed for Mum instead, which was when he would let me go, still laughing. Even though we had all grown up, we would always get together for special occasions. We would go out on adventures that Dad had organised, and just out for a meal at the pub or a drink and a dance at the clubs. Bill had 2 sons, William and Adam. After a visit to Holland on their return to Australia, Bill went back to the army for another stint. He was a godfather to our daughter Chloe, and he took that responsibility seriously. He was always there for her and attended her Holy Communion and confirmation. Chloe loved her Uncle Bill dearly and knew she could always count on him for anything. They had a wonderful bond, and she always wanted to see him and get a hug. He made sure all of our kids got included and made them all feel that they were an important part of his life. They will always know he loved them, and they will never forget him. After a few years, he met Elsie. This was the one he treasured. He was diagnosed with cancer and fought hard for 5 long years. Elsie helped him through the worst years of his life. She took all the emotions and dark days in her stride and stayed strong. Even though she was hurting on the inside, she never faltered. I know Bill loved and appreciated her dearly. We got together at every opportunity after they moved to Geraldton, and the news of his cancer was devastating for us all. He fought so bravely and managed to keep a smile on his face. In our hearts, Bill will always be our big brother and the best big brother ever. We will miss you dearly, Bill. You know in our hearts that you are out of pain, at peace, and back home with Mum, Dad, Anita, and John. Heaven just got lucky with your arrival. We will see you again when we're looking at you. Love you always. Love from Carolyn, Marion, and families. Thank you for sharing those memories with us. I will now share on behalf of Bill's friend Alan. I met Bill through work, and we soon became good friends. A friendship that has lasted to this day just over 44 years. Bill was always good for a laugh, laughing with you or at you, but he wasn't scared to laugh at himself either, which we did many, many times. I remember one occasion when we were young men. Bill was known to be a party animal, even at work. One Christmas on night shift, Bill found a flagon of wine belonging to someone else. That didn't matter to Bill. He drank the lot. Our foreman saw him and said, "Get him to the showers and get him sobered up." After said shower, clean overalls and coffee, he lay down on the crib room bench and fell asleep for the rest of his shift. While he was out to the count, someone came along and drew glasses and a moustache on his face in permanent marker. At the end of the shift, as we were doing handover to the day shift and we walked out past the guards at the gate, not a word was said. But he did get some funny looks. He was dropping off to his girlfriend's house that morning, and as he got out of the car, I thought I'd better tell him. He looked in the side mirror of the car and just said, "You bastards." And of course laughed, and so did his girlfriend. Maybe it was a had-to-be-there moment, but we laughed about it often. Thank you, Alan, for sharing those with us. I will now share on behalf of Troy. Our deepest condolences to you, Elsie, and family from Troy and Sylvia. Farewell, Bill, gone but not forgotten. A great friendship both in and out of army. We caught up a few times over the years. Bill was a great mate. Even though there were sometimes years in between catch-ups, once we got together, it was like I'd seen him last week. Although it is a sad occasion today, I would like to share 2 stories about Bill from our long friendship. Bill always had this quirky smile, and it was always hard to know if he was happy or if he was scheming something or had just set me up for something in return. 2 things that stick out of the number of stories I could tell are as follow. The first one was when we were both in the army. We were about to do a fitness run test, and Bill and I were having a quick smoke before the run, when a young lieutenant had a go at me and Bill with words to the effect of, "I better see you 2 put in a good effort. I will be watching you both." Well, at the 2K mark of the run, we passed the young lieutenant, bent over, dry reaching, and at the same time I hear Bill yell out, "You 2 better put in a good effort. I will be watching you both." I laughed and nearly stumbled as I could hear the young lieutenant yelling at us in between his dry reaches. To say the rest of the day went well for us would be an understatement. The second one was years later, after I had returned to Adelaide, and Bill came from Perth to work for a steel company and was staying with me while looking for a place to rent. We had had a big night involving alcohol and show rides. On returning to my house early hours of the morning, I realised that I had lost my house keys. With no lights, we managed to get the laundry window open, and as Bill was smaller and fitter than me, he jumped through the window into the dark. After I assured him there was nothing on the floor, as he jumped and I heard the crash, I remembered the plastic mop bucket full of water on the floor. Even with the large amount of alcohol we had consumed, Bill did not find it as funny as I did, and did not let me in until I stopped laughing. We then had another drink and a laugh before calling it a night. Rest in peace, mate. Thank you, Ellen. I will now share some more memories and words from Bill's wife, Elsie. We first met in 2003 and then got married on June 26, 2004. With any relationship that has begun after previous marriages, there are always issues that need to be dealt with. Some good, some not so good. But as Bill always said, I was third and the best. We grew closer as issues were dealt with. We spent a third of our lives together. We made very special memories of our travels and daily lives. Bill was such a hard worker, always doing things in the garden. When we first moved into our current home, he dug up by hand huge tree roots, spending 7 hours on one alone. He had some old-fashioned ways, but always did what he thought was the right thing by everyone. He kept telling me how these past 20 years were the best years of his life. We bought a motorhome and lived in it for a year in 2019, and it was June 2019 when his cancer returned, after being cancer-free for 18 months. We drove 15.5 kilometres in those 6 months. We had to stop travelling after that to enable Bill to have his treatment. We returned to our house in March 2020. Then in April, Tanya from Geraldton Dog Rescue presented us with Molly, and she was Bill's godsend. Sitting here thinking of Bill and how hard he fought the battle of cancer, he did everything the medics told him to. We had some beautiful holidays that will always be in my heart. When I was sleeping next to him at the hospital, I was napping and woke up around 12:15 a.m. The nurses were changing a dressing and checking him. His breathing started to weaken and his face changed colour. He then quietly stopped breathing, like he was waiting for me to wake up so he could go and be with his mum, dad, sister and brother. A thank you goes to all the lovely people who have helped along the journey, and also to my gorgeous kids for their support, love and appreciation. Rest in peace, my darling. You deserve the rest. Molly and I will miss you for eternity. Thank you, Elsie. And to conclude our memory sharing, I will now read a poem called Bonus Dad on behalf of Carly and Craig. One who made the choice to love another's child as their own. One who steps up to provide, protect, encourage and love. You may not have given me the gift of life, but you have given me the gift of you. Thank you for being the father you didn't have to be. We have heard stories and memories of Bill, and it is now time to watch the photographic tribute of Bill's life. You will see photos of his time in the army, his travels, and of course with Molly. So as you watch this tribute, reflect back on happy memories of Bill, made with his family and friends, while listening to My Way and Tears in Heaven.
And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friend, I'll say it clear, I'll state my case. A of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I traveled each and every highway and more, much more than this. I did it my way. Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. I did what I had to do and saw it through without exemption. I planned each charted course, each careful step along the byway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when I bit off more than I could chew. But through it all, when there was doubt, I ate it up and spit it out. I faced it all, and I stood tall and did it my way. I've loved, I've laughed and cried, I've had my fill, my share of losing, and now, as tears subside, I find it all so amusing to think I did all that, and may I say, not in a shy way, oh no, not me. I did it my way. For what is a man? What has he got? If not himself, then he has not to say the things he truly feels, and not the words of one who kneels. The record shows I took the blows and did it my way. Yes, it was my way.
Would you know my name?
What great photos to look back on. It is important to remember that in some way Bill is still with you. There won't be any new memories to make, but there are many old ones to remember, to smile and to laugh about, and no one can take those memories away from you. Please join the family following the service next door in the condolence lounge to continue sharing your memories of Bill. Our service for Bill is almost concluded, and I now invite family, followed by friends, forward to come and place rosemary and lavender onto Bill's coffin. As this is a time of reflection, I ask that you please leave your condolences for the family until the end of the service. Once you have said your goodbyes, please return to your seats for the closing of Bill's service.
When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. For though they may be parted, there is still a chance that they will see. There will be an answer, let it be.
Bill's ashes will be interred at the Fremantle Cemetery with his family at a later date. Today we have reflected back on Bill's time with us, and we now need to farewell the physical body Bill has used on his life's journey. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand. For everything there is a season, and a time for every matter, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to keep silent and a time to speak. Bill, in life we honour you, your departure we accept, your memory we cherish, and although there is grief today, as we say goodbye, there is gratitude for your life. We are truly grateful for the privilege of having shared life with you, but rest now at the end of your days. Rest in the hearts and minds of all those who love you. And so with love, we shall leave you in peace, and with respect, we bid you a fond farewell.
It must have been cold there in my shadow to never
now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friend, I'll say it clear, I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I traveled each and every highway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. I did what I had to do, and saw it through without exemption. I planned each charted course, each careful step along the byway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when I bit off more than I could chew. But through it all, when there was doubt, I ate it up and spit it out. I faced it all, and I stood tall, and did it my way. I've loved, I've laughed and cried, I've had my fill, my share of losing, and now, as tears subside, I find it all so amusing to think I did all that, and may I say, not in a shy way, oh no, not me. I did it